Hello, hello. We are live. I like saying that
Oh,
sometimes. Yay! So, as everybody can see, first of all, happy Tuesday. And I mean happy because that goes into our title of Time to Shine Happiness Show with the BBs. I love to
with
say
the babies. Yes.
that. So before we start, I know we got to do introductions, but and I'll just beat Barbara to the punch because I know she's gonna ask me.
Yeah.
So she's so sweet. But my name is Barbara Beckley, and I am the CEO and co-founder of the Diamond Factor LLC, which its mission is to help women understand, first of all, what their purpose, passion, and drive is. What really drives them to say, I want to do this. And maybe I shouldn't, but no, maybe you should. That's what I come and
Right.
say that part of it and say, you know what, let's work that out, see what's going on. And then after that, we need to let people know, right? Or we need to let people
Hmm.
know. You gotta be visible.
Right. Right.
It's like, okay, you could be
Exactly.
sitting having a party in the corner and no one knows where the party's at. So we have to let people know. And that's what I do is I bring them on shows like we have here.
Mhm.
I have a TV streaming show. I do one-on-one interviews and I help them with the social media world. And that can be a huge world, as we all know.
Huge world.
Huge. And Clubhouse is made
Yeah.
even more huge. So with
Yes.
that, that's what I do
Yes.
is help them.
Yeah.
And Miss Barber, my BB.
And one of the things that I just realized as you were just, I have heard your introduction many times. And one of the things that I've just realized is that you start people out to get them their purpose and their drive and their passion. I take them of how to get of the actual mechanics of getting it out there so that it resonates with the most of their audience, that they can attract their own their ideal audience. I just made that connection. Duh! It's been a
See?
year. We've been a year together, which is why it's so important to talk to people. Anyways,
Yes.
okay, so I'm Barbara Ellison, and I'm your personality pro because personality drives reality. It impacts every part of your life. Whether you're sitting across from somebody or lying beside somebody, if you're doing a presentation, or if you're just having a conversation with your child, it affects everything. Anyways, but what I have really realized is that I want to work with speakers and people who do presentations so that, and entrepreneurs who have to get their messaging out there to really so that they can tweak the personality of their messaging so that they can attract, connect with and convert their ideal either client or their audience. If somebody is a speaker, so that they can resonate with more of the audience, and to tweak that messaging. And it has just been like, oh, Barbie, right. Because one of the things that I know you talk about is finding out who do you want to talk to? Would I want to talk to a group of scientists? Probably not. I will talk to the scientists, but it's not, I don't have that, that rapport with them that I do with a set of speakers who are actual speakers and presenters. So, but you know what? But now that I say that, that's not accurate either. It's all about who are you within what you do? And I think that is what is the most important thing. Who are you, which is what you do, that part within what you do, because that when you know who you are, you will attract your own audience. They will hear you. We've talked about it before. They will hear your voice, and that's why it is so cool that we work together. And it's been a year.
It's been a
we are
year.
we
So
are having the month of the BB with a year of the BBs, and it's been a year. Can you believe
wow.
we have been doing this show since yeah, since June 8th of last year,
Wow.
2011. So this is, yeah,
Well, Barbara, I was just thinking what you were saying just
2020, 2020. Where did
2020.
2011 come from? 2020,
I didn't
2020.
notice you said that. I realized
See,
that you
yeah.
said, oh
And I
yeah.
just said, what did I just say? No,
It's like
2020.
20. But Barbara, I
So,
want to go back a minute what you were saying about, understanding, your tribe and understanding who you should talk to and
Mhm.
your clients, and
Mhm.
about, you said about the scientists and the speakers. And see,
Right.
this goes back to what I always say is being intentional on what you're trying to do,
Right.
what you're trying to hone into. And a lot of
Right.
times we can go, all over the place, and then we come back to ourselves and say,
Squirrels.
well, yeah, squirrel moments all the time on
Squirrel.
on
Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah, and I'm gonna let you expand a little bit on that, but yeah, we can go in our squirrel moments in a heartbeat, and then we come back to our back and be like, okay, what did I, you think about, did you do and get anything done? Was it leading to what you were trying to, results? And you'd be like, no, it was somewhere way over here somewhere.
Right.
And I always tell people, be intentional on what you're doing so you
Right.
can keep on the track of where you're trying to go.
Right.
So what do you give me some tips on that?
Right.
What you think?
Yeah. And one of the things, in fact, I just read, a friend of mine just posted on Facebook, and she was doing this big painting project. And she's a leadership coach. And one of the things that her lesson from this painting project that she herself was doing, house painting her baseboards at her house.
Oh, okay.
And so she said one of the things, and she loves to do it, but you know what? It's a big job.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
and her lesson of the day about the painting was that break it up into smaller parts.
Mm,
Don't look at the entire job all at one time. Yes, you have to know that that's the original, the eventual goal is to get it all done. But if you continuously look at the big project, it will never get done, because sometimes the hardest part of any project is taking the first step. And I said,
yes.
well, I had to realize that this comes under the heading of how do you eat an elephant? And people to use that analogy all the time. Well, one bite at a time. However, if you don't take the first bite, you're not going to eat it one at a time. And
Yeah.
so my comment back to her was just, that is absolutely the truth. Break it up into small bites. But
Mm,
sometimes you need help to take the first bite.
yes, you do. Yes, you do.
So, and so that's why I wrote, so sometimes taking the first bite is the hardest. So get help, put on some upbeat music, and make it
Hmm.
a party. No matter what it is, get help and put on some upbeat music and get yourself that,
And
and
dance with me, Barbara.
you can get yourself pumped up to do whatever it is you're going to do. You have to raise your vibration.
Yes, you do.
You must raise your vibration, because when you're dreading something, there's no way you're going to get it done. Or you might start it, but it'll be a chore. It'll be,
You'll be like, oh,
right.
yes.
You can't get to somewhere from there. Like,
No.
even if, like, I can remember sometimes even just driving somewhere that I'm not sure of where I'm going, and that you make one little wrong turn, even though the GPS told you, Barbara, turn here, and you missed it. Now what? And you get that moment of panic. It's like, oh, now what? Well, okay, but yeah, you still know basically where you're going. So now listen, slow down. Big thing, slow down. Listen to the GPS beforehand. Don't get distracted, especially if you're in traffic. Don't get distracted, and that applies to so many projects.
Yes, I
Don't
like that
get
analogy.
don't get distracted. Listen to the GPS. So the GPS is your strategy that you have set out before you're doing the project.
Hmm.
Like right now, I've got this big project coming up. I'm doing a gift giveaway, which I was expecting to have the link for this morning. Uh, mm, Modern technology, and Mercury is in retrograde. So
Oh,
right now it is down for whatever reason. Sent to my tech guy, help, please. This is what my website is showing. But anyways, so those things happen, and you just kind of deal with it. But this, event, this project that I'm doing, it was like, okay, what are the first things that I need to do? Well,
Mhm.
sign up the people that are going to be part of it.
Mhm.
What are your plans for each one of the days? You know, but then you have to do the back of the stuff. So it was like set up your Thrive card, and but you can't set up a Thrive card, but then you have to set up Active Campaign, and then but then you have to do your Google Forms. Well, you can't do your and so it's like, okay, what are you doing first? What's first? What moves into this? What moves into that?
Mhm.
Oh, gee, I got to go back to that. Okay, so now for next time, I will know to do
Mhm.
this, whatever that was, back here because oh now I can go back and it's all a learning process.
Yeah. Yeah. But
And don't despise learning things.
oh, oh yeah. All the time, Barbara. We always say we are
All the
learning
time.
so much. I mean, just from yesterday to the day, I'm just taking day one day at a time. I've learned
Yep.
like five different things from different people. And I'm like,
Yep.
I am so glad I asked the questions, or I'm so glad that I like went into a certain group and listened to that network because
Yep.
if I didn't, I would have missed out
Yep.
on something that was really valuable.
Yeah. And in fact, tomorrow I have the opportunity to do a little presentation for a group. A friend of mine, she is a Shriner. Her husband is the potentate of a shrine temple, a Shriner's temple. And
Mhm.
so once a month, she has what she calls her monthly meeting with the Shriner ladies. And these are all the ladies that are the wives of the Shriners that they're having their meeting. So she gets together with all the women. And so she's
Mhm.
been inviting me to come with it just as a night out. And it's just been fun. But
Mhm.
anyway, so she asked me a couple of weeks ago when I did a presentation. She said, Gene, you want to come again and do another one? And I said, sure, fine. So tomorrow night, they're all a middle to later life. They're all older ladies.
Mhm.
And so I said, one of the things that I was thinking yesterday as I was having my dog outside, I was sitting there, I said, gee, what am I going to talk to the ladies about? And, one of the things, sit down and listen.
Mm.
That's one of my
Mm.
biggest lessons. Sit
Yeah.
down and listen. The answer will come to you. My stop, wait, breathe, and listen technique, do it. When you have something you need to think about. So I did. I went outside, I sat down, was watching my dog. Sit down. What am I going to talk about? Well, gee, these are a set of older ladies. What would be something that they might be interested in? And then I thought, you know what? They're older ladies. That's the key. What can you do to keep young even though you're getting older?
Mm.
So
That's good.
I am going to talk on how to like that learning is really like the fountain of youth.
Mhm.
Because when you are learning something new, it creates like new pathways in your brain, which helps you to stay younger. When you start to learn something that sparks a little part of interest in you, then you get excited. So that's good for your heart. When you start to learn something new, you can share it, you can learn it, and when you learn it, you will share it with somebody else. So that makes you feel good because now you're teaching somebody else something. All of these things. So I'm going to expand on that. And it was like, oh yeah, that's going to be a great topic. So what do you think? because learning
Yeah.
is all those things that does for you. And
Yeah.
when we stop learning, that's when we're
Yeah.
dying.
Well, that's what I told somebody. I said, if I stop, when I say I stop learning stuff or I can't comprehend or I'm not going to listen
Yeah.
to anybody, then yeah, I might as well just go and just lay down because
Right.
it's
Right.
that's not life.
Right. Yeah,
But I
and
like
and
what you
the
said, Barbara. Just to go back what you said about with the ladies tomorrow night. Now
yeah,
I'm hearing feedback. I don't know if it's me, but ladies tomorrow night. I like what you said. Listening. Because a
let's
lot of times we can get our answers of what we maybe need to talk about to a certain group
right,
is when we listen to what they have to say because they're going to tell you. A lot of times
right,
they might tell you what they're dealing with or what they
right,
need, what they
exactly,
want. Yeah.
right, right. And it was so funny because at the last meeting, one of the ladies said something about learning something, and I think that's probably what triggered this because I remember listening to her and she said, "Oh yeah," she said, "Well, maybe I'm too old." Oh, that was it. She said, "Maybe I'm too old to learn something new."
Oh.
Oh, a telling statement. a telling statement. Because my dad, that's one of the things, he lived to be 102. And that was one of the things that he always said, learn something new every day. It keeps your brain active.
Mm.
And for all those things that I just said, when you're excited about something, it's good for your heart. It's good for your circulation. It takes your mind, and it takes your mind off the things that are going on in your life.
Yes. Yes. You're
And
so right.
it gives you a reason to do something. Oh, I'm going to learn. I have to learn this. And then once you spark the first learning, oh, because
It's
it's a rabbit
just,
hole.
yeah.
It's a rabbit hole. And so some rabbit holes are really good. Some
Yeah.
rabbit holes
We,
are a
we,
distraction.
we can
But
label that
sometimes you
some
want
rabbit holes are good. Some rabbit holes are good.
yeah, sometimes you want to go down a rabbit hole because you want to
Hmm.
learn. And that's
Hmm.
excellent. Excellent.
Yes.
Like one of my rabbit holes that I had recently was when I heard the word connectionism.
Connectionism. Hmm.
Connectionism. I don't know if I ever told you this story. I was driving up to my girlfriend's. Beautiful sunny day. My radio was blaring, my windows were open. It was just one of those days, that you just feel young and alive and you're singing along with the radio. And it didn't matter that I was in traffic and I was just having a great time. With just myself driving. Just driving. It was a little over an hour drive. Anyway, so there was me just bopping along, and it was like, gee, who am I? Besides being your personality pro, who am I? What can I call myself? Hmm. Just kind of that was the thought that went through my brain. And well,
Hmm.
I'm a connectionist because I like to connect people with things. I like to connect people with what they want to do. I like to connect people with how their messaging will impact what they do. I said, oh, a connectionist. I wonder if that's a word. That was the question to myself. I
Uh-huh.
wonder if that is a word. So, of course, when I got to my girlfriend's, I got out my handy little thesaurus that is more. Okay, how do you say it? Thesaurus or thesaurus?
I say thesaurus. Is that
So
correct?
do I. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, they're both correct. I just wondered
Oh,
how you say
oh,
it.
okay.
Depending on what word came before it is how I say it. Like I just said thesaurus, but I normally, in my normal everyday life, I say thesaurus.
Thesaurus.
But
Well,
anyways,
see, I just
I
learned
have
something now because I didn't know it was two ways of saying it. Okay.
yes, you can say it both. Can I tell you one other word that's like that?
Oh,
Recreation,
recreation.
recreation,
Okay.
and recreation.
Oh, so doesn't it have a different meaning though?
It's totally different meaning. Exactly the same
Yeah.
word. Exactly the
See,
same word.
see, those
Totally
words
different
get me in
meaning.
trouble. Those words
Totally
get me in
different
trouble,
meaning.
Barbara. I know
That's
they get me in trouble
why.
because I'll be like, which one is which?
Yeah, totally. So same
Goodness.
word, different meaning. But
Oh,
thesaurus is
recreation.
same meaning, but different pronunciations. That's why words
Yeah.
are fascinating. So,
Yeah. Well,
and so
yeah.
that's why words are fascinating. But anyways, so there was me. So I said, well, I'm going to look it up. Is connectionist a word? It's
Mhm.
not only a word, it's a whole science. Connectionism.
Really? Wow.
It's all about how people learn.
Oh, so now you have a new brand for
So
yourself.
I have a new that I look up all sorts of this is one of my little rabbit holes that not only
That was
helps
good.
me because it's something that I'm interested in, but
Hmm.
also one of the things that I talk on is how people learn.
Yes. That
How do
I
people
love
learn?
that, Barbara. That is so awesome that you found. See, that just proves the point. That proves the point right there.
Exactly. Right. You can always find something. But it starts with listening
It
to
starts with
your
listening.
intuition
Hmm.
because we are all connected in the universe. We are all
Yes.
connected in the universe.
Yes.
And
Yes.
whether you call the universe or source, or in my case I call it God, it's however you think of that, we're all connected.
Yeah.
And that is what is so important, and that's why talking to people is so important. Like, just now, just talking about you, how you and I are connected, but I had not made that connection until right this moment. That, right, you talk about, because you teach people how to get in touch with who they, what they, and their purpose, their passion, and their drive. And I take, when they're, and I go to, then they come to me, I take their purpose, their passion, and their drive, and how to package it out so that you get the most amount of audience. Wow,
You
who
see,
knew?
that's the connection. I see.
That's the connection. And it's
It
all
just
part of,
flows.
and it just, right. It all
It
flows.
flows.
And
Yeah.
that's why it is so important when you can have people around you. Surround yourself with like-minded people.
Yes. Say that again, Barbara. That's so important. So important.
Surround yourself with like-minded people. And so often I had one older lady that she said, well, you know what? I can't remember how old she said she was. She was in her 80s. And she says, and I don't have a smartphone, and I don't have this, and I don't have that.
Mm.
Okay, fine. But what are you going to do to get something? There's
Mm.
always a way. You can go to your library. You can go
Yes.
to, and during when we were shut down, yeah, different story. Different
Yeah.
story.
Well,
But
yeah.
look at all the things that have come out because of Zoom.
Yes.
You
That's
would not
crazy.
believe how many senior citizens have learned how to do Zoom.
I know. I think all of us is now in the world of the Zoom that even if you
We're
didn't
in
know or
Zoom.
family know, yeah. It's like, okay,
Yeah.
Zoom is the new, yeah. Yes. And it
Zoom.
say, you know what, Zoom, I feel like it saved lives too, Barbara,
Oh,
because you couldn't
absolutely.
get the chance to talk, you
Absolutely.
couldn't be around people, and at
Right.
least through Zoom, you were able to communicate and
Right.
see people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
And if it wasn't, like, and there are so many out there. Like, I know just even up until my dad, when my dad, before he passed away, I could see him all the time, and we could talk because my sister would go to visit him, and we would do FaceTime.
Oh, okay. That was
All
good.
the
That was
time. All the time. We would go, oh, here's dad. Oh, hi, daddy. How are you? And we would talk. He said, oh, yeah, how are things in Chicago? And da 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 da. All that because he lived in Montreal. And
mm,
so, yeah. And you know what? Sometimes, just even during COVID,
mm,
as awful as that was, there were still times where you could go outside, put on a mask, go outside, and
mm.
wave at your neighbor.
Yeah. Yeah.
It was making a connection. Didn't matter whether you
Yeah.
talked to them or if you knew them, wave at your
Just
neighbor.
just be like,
Right.
yeah,
It's
you
make connection,
making that connection. Yeah.
human to
Definitely.
human. Doesn't
Yeah.
doesn't matter if you don't know them. Say, like with me, one of the things now is oh well, before all this happened, my
Mm.
sister, we would go out walking and stuff, and I would say hello to everybody that I passed.
Oh,
Why do you do that? Because, hey, I'm a friendly person. She said, well, what if they don't say hello back? I said, I don't care. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter whether they respond or not. I'm a friendly person.
yeah. You have to be
It's
you.
all in your attitude. And like
Yes.
lots of times, I would take a Walmart, a plastic bag with me when we were out for a walk. And sometimes it was, to pick up Daisy's business. But lots of times I would take a bigger one, and one day we were out walking, and I was picking up stuff, and it was just pieces of paper and like cans that had been run over on the
Garbage.
street. And it was like, the question was, well, why are you picking up other people's garbage?
Mm.
I went, I'm not picking up other people's garbage. I'm beautifying my neighborhood.
Wow. I love how you flip that. That is so nice. Yes.
And it was like, oh, right.
That could be a
I
whole pres
walk in this neighborhood every
I
day.
wanted to that could be
I'm
a
not picking up,
presentation, Barbara. You could take that. You could take that as a talk. You know that. I'm loving
yeah,
that. How, when
just
people say you
change your
pick up people's
perspective.
garbage, you change your perspective on it. And see, that's what I love about what you do. You always take something and you change it to a different perspective of it. Then you be like, wow, I didn't see it. You think about it, you're like, wow, Barbara, I didn't see it that way.
Yeah.
I didn't see it that way
That's
because
why
I was thinking like your sister. I'm like, why is she picking that? She should have to pick
they're
up their
picking
garbage.
up
But then,
other people's garbage.
yeah, yeah.
And that can apply to everything.
Mm,
That
mm.
can apply to everything.
So good.
Like one of the things for me that was a change of perspective. Okay, I don't think there's any woman alive or any person who alive who really likes to clean their bathroom.
You,
Yeah,
that's right.
not my favorite thing to
Not
do,
my
but
favorite thing to do.
it's a necessity that you really do have to do it.
Yeah.
So when I am doing that, I'm not cleaning my bathroom. I'm praising. I'm praising
Oh.
that I have a bathroom, that I have
Mhm.
indoor plumbing, and it's not an
Yes.
outhouse. I
Because that's a
have
whole nother world
That's a
without out.
whole nother world. And there are still people that that they do. I mean, there are still people that
Yeah.
up in the mountains where
Yeah.
there is not indoor plumbing.
Nope. And they got to pump
And
that. I always think about
and
that pump. I used to go when within the forest preserves when we used to have
oh,
family picnics
exactly.
every year, and we had
You
to
have to
pump that.
pu-
That pump to
you have
get
to
the
pump
water,
your water.
and all you taste was
Yep.
iron after that. It was like I
Ooh,
was like, okay, I'm
and
pumping this
right,
water. It's like,
exactly.
but yeah, but we that
Exactly.
was the only water there at the time, so
So yeah, and exactly. So that's one of my things is that change your perspective. So if you're struggling with something, all right, okay, I'm struggling with this.
hmm
What's and sometimes all you have to do is change one word from I'm struggling with this to I'm excited about learning this.
yes, yeah, yes.
So
Well, it's funny.
you've still got the thing in front of you, but your
hmm
attitude has changed.
Your attitude, and I'm glad you mentioned that because I have a story. It's
Okay,
a
well I
it's,
gotta
it's a
hear this.
current one. It's a current story about attitude, and I'm glad you brought that up because yesterday I started really well. It seemed like I had the show because I have the Diamond Factor Experience show in the morning.
Yeah,
Went well. Then right afterwards, it gives me an hour, maybe an hour and a half to start my day because I have a day job. So I'm
right.
getting things done, making sure whatever, and then all of a sudden my lights flash like I was like, oh no, what's going on? I said what the electricity was, but the light came back on. So I'm thinking, things happen. You know how things
Yeah,
happen. So I was like, okay, fine. So then I went in the living room and I tried to turn on the TV because I like to see kind of the news a little bit before I kind of go. No cable, nothing, off, gone,
oh right.
gone,
Gone.
Barbara,
Yeah,
gone. Now this was like 15 minutes before I was supposed to start work, and I work from home still.
right.
And I
Right.
need internet. You see where they're coming from?
Right.
So my internet.
Yep.
So I said, "Oh no!" As soon as I seen the cable, I'm like, "Let me check." No internet, nothing. I have two
Oh no,
laptops.
yes.
I'm like, "No, no, what's going on?" I said, "I gotta get." I said, "I gotta get." So I'm just, just trying to. I said, "Okay, let me pray." Let me. I was doing the prayer. I was like, then I started getting upset because I'm like, it's getting close to time. My manager gonna be like, "Where are you, bro? You're not logged on." So, I did that for like a good 15, 20 minutes. And then I said, okay, wait a minute. Let me take a step back. Barbara, the
Yeah.
situation, you're not in control of this. Remember how we always say
Exactly.
some things we don't have no control over. So
Yep.
what did I do first? I called my manager and
Right.
I let her know the issue, what was going on. She
Right.
wasn't too happy about it, just like I was, but again,
Right.
out of my control,
Out of your
right?
control.
And
Exactly.
and then I said, I'm going to call the cable company. Maybe they can tell me, maybe there's an outage, whatever's going on. Well, I did. There was an outage. So they said, well, we have
Right.
an outage. We won't be back up until 12:30. Okay, 2 hours. I can do some other things, right?
Right. Yeah.
2 hours passed. I'm like, yeah, okay, cable. I turned it on. My cable wasn't on. Barbara, it wasn't on.
Oh
It
yeah.
still wasn't
Yeah.
on.
Yeah.
So I was like, wait a minute. They said 12:30. So I had to call them back. And they
Right.
had me on hold. And you know how that
Right.
is that now
Oh, I
that's the
know.
black hole right there. So
That
when I
right.
finally got somebody, they said, oh yeah, you had outage in your area. Let's and I said, well, the outage, if it's they said that's cleared up now. I said, well, it's not cleared up on my end because I can't get in. I still can't get in the internet. So they said,
Right.
well, let's send a signal and everything. So when they sent the signal didn't come through for some
No
reason. All
signal.
right, no signal. So they said, oh, okay. We see what's happened with you. It seemed like after the outage, some other things happened on your end. So we're gonna have to send out a service person.
Don't you
And
love
I
it?
and the first thing I asked Barbara is like, is it going to be today? Because I
Right.
need to get to work. And they're
Right.
like, we'll get you the fastest. We understand, Miss Beckley. And they said, and then they came back. They said, well, we can't get nobody out there till 3 o'clock tomorrow. That was talking about today because it was yesterday.
Right.
I was like, and I was smiling over the phone bar. I was like, that is not gonna work. I need to talk to
Yes.
a manager.
Right.
Because and then see, this is I'm talking to this, but I'm telling this because all about attitude. Because I
Right.
was the back of my mind, Barbara. I was like livid,
Right.
livid, and I was
Right.
like, no, this is not going to work. But
Yeah.
it went on, and then she said, well, that's all we have. So I called my manager back. Then my manager's the one that got heated. She's like, oh no, we got too much stuff. Barbara, some has to have. I don't know what you're doing.
Right.
All that was like
Right.
again out of my control.
Right. Right. Let
I
her
can't just
let
go.
her call your company.
Yeah. So some told me because how, and this is okay. This is another thing to learn, a lesson to learn. Don't let other people. We're talking about garbage. You're picking up garbage and making the beautify, but
Mhm.
don't let people put their garbage on you either. So
Exactly.
I let my manager put kind of her attitude, her garbage on me, and then that started getting me kind of heated because
Right.
she was kind of making me feel like, okay, this is like almost my fault. I'm like,
This
okay,
is
this is
right.
not my fault.
Exactly.
So then I got upset after I got off the phone with her, and I went back to the cable company and I said, look, we have to talk here. I said, I really can't wait till 3 o'clock tomorrow next day. I said, I work from home and this is hours ticking away right now that I'm not online
This
to
is
do my
costing
job.
money.
It's
This
costing
is
a lot of
costing
money.
money.
So I need to talk to a manager or somebody that can kind of help me or get somebody. So they said, oh, okay, let's see. So, but I prayed before that. See, I know a lot of people, they have
Right.
different faith, but I prayed because I said, okay, I got to calm down and I have to do it in
Right.
the right manner. You know how sometimes you
And
get on the
yes,
phone, you be like, you need to do this, and then get all upset and you don't get anywhere.
and I loved the first words you said. Calm down.
I did your thing. I listened to you.
Calm down. That's
I had to
huge.
breathe. I
It's
had to
huge.
calm
You have to
down.
breathe. Calm
I had to
down.
breathe because I was already upset with when I had a phone
Exactly.
call with my manager, and then they found dispatcher. They said somebody can get out there at 6 o'clock yesterday evening,
Hmm.
and I was like, thank God. I said, okay, well, I'm gonna have to just wait a while, but that's okay. I'll be patient. So what I did, Barbara, is like you said, when you have the opportunities, like you said, out of your control, out of some things, find other things that's going to help uplift you.
Right.
So I went. I said I'm gonna sit down, do the Usha moment, and I read a book. Got a book that I
Hmm.
have been trying to read for months, and I
Right.
sat there and read the book.
Okay.
I just sat there and read the book,
Okay.
and I couldn't think about. I mean, I know that was like my work, all this, but what could I do if I couldn't get
There's
on with
nothing.
it?
Right. Right. Right.
Yeah, yeah.
Exactly.
And then now the miracle happened after that. So I was sitting there reading the book, and I was just kind of relaxing, and then I get a phone call from the cable company. No, a text, and it said your internet should be up. Now this was 3 hours before they supposed to come out, so it came on earlier than expected.
Wow. Yay.
Yeah. Yay. So I was
Exactly.
like, see? So, I mean, just going through all that, like you said, is the attitude and is how
Right.
you really walk through what
Right.
you're dealing with. And
Right.
what you said about breathing and about just calming,
Right.
calm down.
Calming down. Calming down.
Yeah.
Because I truly believe that when we get upset and when we take it out on the people around, they're not, you attract more flies with honey than you do
Yes.
with vinegar.
Yes, you do. Yes, you
And
do.
people will bend over backwards for you when you appreciate them and say, I know that this is not your, and yet this is my situation. What can you do to help me?
Yes. Yes. And it's funny because if I would have went in that realm, like you said, with that attitude and being really nasty and kind of, ooh, you
She
know
would have
some
said,
people.
"Yeah, add another day to the add another
Yeah,
day."
I probably been wait till Friday.
And that happens. And that happens. And you just,
Yeah,
as much as you hate to, but so yeah, be kind. Be
yeah.
kind.
Happiness. See, it all goes
Yeah,
back to that.
happiness.
Time to happiness. Yeah,
Right.
all goes back
Because
around.
you don't get anywhere by not.
No,
It doesn't get you anything. It just makes you even more upset.
yeah, and it slows the
And
process down even more too. It slows
it
down.
slows down the process.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
like in fact, I was just telling a friend of mine yesterday that when I sold my house to we all lived together, and then finally I was at the age I said, oh, I don't need to retain possession of this, that it's not my house. So I sold it to my ex daughter-in-law and her husband, and because we all lived together, and so I sold it to them. And so we had this window of opportunity to really get a really good deal of the interest rate when the interest rates were really fluctuating.
Yeah.
And so, but we needed this one piece of paperwork from my mortgage company.
Mm,
And so that's what I did. I just went to the mortgage company and I said, look we have to close this by 3 o'clock this afternoon. And I know that you're technically not supposed to give it to me over the phone, but is
mm,
there any way, because it's supposed to come in writing? I said, we
mm,
can't, there has been a glitch that we have not gotten it in writing. We don't have it. Is there a way, is there something that you can do to help me?
mm.
And she said, you know what? Let me find out. And heaven knows what she did. But she came back to me and said, the information has been faxed to your lawyer.
Mm.
I went, and the thing that I'm so sad about is that I did not get her name
Oh yeah, so you can,
to
yeah.
send her a personal thank you, because we made the deadline by
Wow,
12 minutes.
that was close. And
12
without her
minutes.
doing that, it wouldn't have
Without her
happened.
doing that, we would have totally lost that window to get this really, I mean, yes, we would have still gotten the mortgage, but it wouldn't have been at such a great rate.
See,
And
it's this
it's just,
attitude. Yeah.
it's all in, you pray, calm down, because I was feeling myself starting to panic that
See,
we've got this 3 o'clock deadline.
see,
And
we're human. That's what happens. It
because we're
happens.
human. We're
Yeah.
human. And that's why I tell people, hey, you know what? There are times when, like this morning, I woke up and I have this big event coming up that, and I'll tell you about the event. But I have this big event coming up, two events coming up the last 2 weeks of June. And
Mhm.
so today I wanted to put it out today, put it out, tell you guys about it, tell the audience about it. And I went into my website, and my website is totally, it says can't process data or something or other. And contact your host. I'm like, okay, help.
I know you like
Contact
what?
my host, help.
Contact your
Okay.
host.
And but then I was starting it and it was like, Barbie, you can't do anything about this. And if it doesn't go out today, oh well, it'll still go out tomorrow.
Yeah.
Oh well, I'll
See.
miss one day. And you know what? God knew before the beginning of time that I would want to have this, that I was doing this event, and that my computer was going to go, whatever, my host site went down for whatever reason. Don't know. Not
Mm,
in my control. So if
not at
something
all.
is, and that's the biggest lesson, that because I loved that you said that you were not in control. If you are not in control of something, let it go.
Yeah. Yeah.
Let it go. If it's something's happening right now, or if it's something in the past, and in the past is even more so.
Yes,
If
definitely.
something has
Definitely.
happened in the past and you cannot do anything about it, let it go.
Let it go. Yeah.
Let it go. Let it go.
Yeah. Well,
But
with
anyway,
that, Barbara, because I know what time we did it
yeah,
again. See, I thought we could talk and
only that we can
we get
always
some
talk.
good
But anyway,
goodies
yeah.
out.
So let me tell you about my event.
Your
If you are,
event, yeah.
I am doing an event, a gift giveaway for speakers. That if you are a speaker or if you're a coach that have speakers and presenters in your audience, or that you want to learn about how to, and if you want to be part of a gift giveaway, and if you have a gift that would help speakers to get better at communication, better at whatever, but better at confidence, better at whatever it is for when people, if you're that and you have a free gift that you want to put it out there, hey, it's great exposure. So I'm doing a gift giveaway.
Oh, okay. I'm gonna have to talk to you about that because I got something for
Yeah.
because with
So
especially with the
yeah,
social media thing. So
with
yeah.
social media. So that's what, so, and you were on my list. And I was going to tell you today and give you the link. You were already on my list. You were pegged.
I
Um,
appreciate. I like that already on the list. That's good.
You were
I was on
you
the
were
good
on the
list.
you're on the good list. Um, and so but things happen. Couldn't do it. Oh well.
Mm,
Now after the show, I'll go back and say, gee, you know what? Let's go see if it's fixed. If it is, great. If it's not, oh well. I'll wait. Stop. Stop the chatter in your brain.
yeah, because it can go.
That
Believe
chatter in
me.
your brain. It can
Whew.
absolutely chatter in your brain. And if it is something that you can change, or something that you did that was a mistake, or maybe not quite so great,
Yeah.
fess up, take the heat,
Yes.
then go on.
That. Yeah.
If
Oh.
something that you fess up, take the heat, and then go on.
Right.
Because
See.
people, yeah, yeah,
No,
been there,
I
done
was
that.
agreeing with you, Barbara, because I say that all the time. One thing I don't this is at work. Anything I do is like if there was a mistake, especially if I made it, I'm going to fess up. I want to
Right,
just put it out there, say,
fess
you
up.
know what, I made the mistake. I
Right.
learned from it, and let's get some
What,
get going
right.
and what to do to fix it.
What can we do
But
to
some
fix it?
but sometimes a lot of people around you, especially at work, they want to
Hmm.
sit there and just dwell in the point of,
Right,
well, you did do that wrong, or why did you do it
right,
that way, or da da
right.
da da, and it goes on and on. And while you're talking and saying all that, and I already
That,
fessed up and apologized for it,
that
we're not getting it done.
you're
We're
not
not
moving
moving
forward.
forward. Yeah,
Let's,
yeah,
hey, guys, it happened. What are we
yeah,
going to do about it? It's over. It's done. What are we going to do about it?
yeah. Believe me, if I could replay
If
and then don't have it wrong, I would love to do that, but we can't.
But you can't.
We
So
can't.
let's just go on.
Yeah.
Let's go on. Let's go on. Don't dwell on it. If you can't do anything about it, let it go.
Yeah,
Anyways, so
just find some solutions. Find a
find the
solution.
solution, right? Because when you're dwelling in the blame,
Hmm.
when you're in the blame circle, hamster wheel, you're not finding solutions because you're
Yeah,
stuck in blame.
yeah.
It's like you're either stuck in blame, or you're trying to or you're trying to get the other person to be stuck in shame.
Yes, yes, Barbara. Ooh,
Blame
that's
and
another.
shame, blame and shame accomplish nothing.
Ooh, that's another topic we need to talk about on another Tuesday. I like
Yeah,
that. Let's pin that one.
yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
but
You
real
get
quickly
nothing
before
done.
we go, I want to real
Yeah.
quickly my because I have something coming up just this Thursday.
Cool.
It's still not too late. So I have what I created. I'm so excited about it because this is my first 6 week series workshop that I'm doing. It's an incubator
Oh, great.
called the Secret Social Media Secrets for the Biz Queen.
Ah,
Social
yes, I
Secrets
saw
for the
that.
Biz Queen. Yeah. And basically it's a 6 week, 1 hour every Thursday. I'm gonna get with the biz queens, the ladies that come in. Now you can be entrepreneur if you just started your business for
Right,
a little bit and you're trying to figure out how to just really figure out this social media world, and
right,
the thing that they're going to always hear is do things
right.
intentional for you and
Exactly.
your business. So that's just a
Right,
key tip that I'm going to be talking about a lot of things.
right,
So, it
right.
starts this Thursday. Now, the retail price, I mean, the big retail price was $2,500 and everybody's like, "Oh my God." But because the incubator is a workshop is something I'm starting, I'm doing it. I'm opening up with a special price of just $47. $47.
Wow. Yes.
$7.
Very cool.
And get a lot of bonuses. I'm gonna give some templates to really easy way to put content out there for your social
Right.
media. Just
Yeah.
copy and paste stuff,
Yeah.
ideas to put out there to get people engaged. It's gonna be a lot of
Right.
good stuff. I got a lot of good
Right.
bonuses.
Right.
So yeah, it's
And
still not too late to sign up.
right. And and hey, if you're just starting, like for me now, I have been blessed that I have somebody that does my social media for me, that I don't
Mhm.
have to do it anymore. But when I first started, I loved taking these courses like Barb is offering, and I just highly, highly recommend for you to do it, because you will learn. Because even though like now I have somebody who does it for me, but I had to learn how to do it for myself. Because you cannot oversee somebody else doing it for you if you don't understand the process yourself. You
Yeah.
must learn about what your process is. Once you know your process, then yes, you can farm it out. And I am blessed that I'm so glad that I can do that. But you have to learn it to begin with. And so if
Yeah.
you're just starting out a business and you want to learn how to do social media, I
Yeah.
highly recommend
Yeah.
that you take a course like Barb's, because you need to know how to do it. You
Yeah.
need to know how to do it, because then
Yeah.
once you build enough that you can farm it out to have somebody else do it for you, you have to be able to oversee them and say, "Hey, no, 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 that's not quite how I want you to do that. I want you to do it this way."
Yeah, because they got to know your brand. They got to know,
Because
who
they have
you're
to
trying to reach
know
out to. And
who
if they
you
don't
like, the
know,
languaging, and they
yeah,
have to know, but
yeah,
you have to know it to be able to teach them.
to teach them, yeah. I tell people all the time, it's wonderful to do that, delegate and hire somebody
Right.
because we're all busy, and
Yeah.
I get that. We
Those are
can't always
yeah.
just be because social media can be a job of its own. I tell people that all the time.
Exactly. It's a job in
But
its
you have
own.
It's a job of its own. But if you, like you said, you need to understand and nurture it yourself so you
Yep.
understand how to delegate it and do it so they can do it the
Yeah.
way you want they want
Yeah.
to be done.
Like,
Yeah.
yeah, like I've been doing my own. I did my own social media for years,
Mhm.
years, because I needed to know how to do it and how to get engagement and how to get reactions and what worked and what didn't work.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. 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 So
Yeah,
thank you, Barbara.
absolutely,
Yeah. So yeah, I
absolutely,
welcome the ladies. Yeah, like I said, it's
absolutely.
still time. I'm looking for
Yeah,
20, so I'm almost to that
yeah,
point. And yeah.
yeah, yeah,
So yeah.
yeah.
So
It's gonna be a great.
so
Yeah,
so
it'll be
next
a
next Friday, next Tuesday, do we have any
next. Yes, next Tuesday. Guess who's going to be our guest?
uh-oh,
C.
who is
Simone. C. Simone Rivers from
see
WPN.
some
C.
Oh, see
Simone.
Simone. Yeah, she's
Yes,
awesome.
she's awesome. She's the
Wow.
Yum Yum ambassador.
Yeah.
And so we are just going to be talking about all the things that she's doing to just to in how to say it. No, I'm going to let her say it, of what the
Yeah,
things that
let
she
her
does,
say it.
because you know what, we all have our field of expertise, and she's the Yum Yum ambassador.
The
To
yum
just
yum
shine,
yum.
the Yum Yum ambassador. And her thing is to shine your light, and that goes right along with what Barb does, what I do, because we have to get ourselves out there. We really
That's
do.
wonderful. Yeah, I
So
can't wait till
it's going to
next
be awesome.
Tuesday. I love the
Yep,
gifts
it's
that
going
you
to be
bring,
awesome.
Barbara. Thank you so much.
Yeah. So yeah, she's
Yeah.
going to be on next week. So that'll be cool. Anyways, all righty,
Okay. That's it for
perfect.
us for
Well,
today.
that's it. This is
Yep.
Barbara Ellison, your personality pro, because personality does drive reality.
And we always say take time to shine that
Time.
smile and be happy.
Yeah.
And just
Yeah.
because that takes less than than
Yeah.
a frown
It
all
takes
the
more. It
time.
takes more muscles to frown than it does to smile.
Remember that. And
Yep.
we want to bring that youth, no matter how old you're getting, so the smile
Exactly.
really helps.
When
Yeah.
you're happier, it's an anti-aging.
Oh, see, I need to be happy.
Absolutely. Absolutely. When you have a more positive attitude, it reduces aging.
Awesome,
Mhm.
awesome.
Yeah,
Okay, ladies. So we'll see
absolutely.
next Tuesday with our guest. And thank
Next
you again,
Tuesday.
Barbara, for always putting a smile on my face every Tuesday.
You're
Talk to you
welcome.
later.
I'll talk to you soon. Yeah. Bye bye.